Welcome back to another episode of the Relatable Watch Bro channel. My name is RWB, and today we are doing another AliExpress watch build. But this build is not like any other build you have seen before on AliExpress. I'm going full custom with this watch, and I'm taking you along for the ride. Okay, so let's get this ball rolling here. As you can see, this is not your typical first view for a normal AliExpress video. Right now, I am using my Cricut vinyl maker that I recently purchased, which kind of gives me the freedom to be more creative within my dial making builds. I can pretty much come up with any image in my head, research it, and then it'll give me, templates or just ideas or labels, anything that I can use, just to keep the creative mind moving forward here. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting out a template for my dial, and as if you can tell already, I'm not sure if you can yet, it is a heart. So I'm going to be making a custom heart dial with an actual shape of a heart. And that's going to go over the balance wheel with the movement. And the movement that I chose for this is the 82 SO Miyota open heart movement. This movement costs a little more than the typical NH35 movement, but still relatively inexpensive for what you get. As far as the dial goes, I bought this online on AliExpress for around 10 bucks. It's a no-date dial. There weren't a lot of dial options available on AliExpress for the 82 SO movement, so I kind of had to improvise and bought just a regular NH35 movement. As you can see, it's a no-date dial. It didn't really matter what the colors were or anything like that, because I'm going to heavily modify this and paint the whole dial itself. But first, as you can see here, I did use the outer outline to find exactly where I wanted to put the heart. And because this is a dial that does not fit this movement, I'm going to have to remove all of the legs instead of typically just, the two or one on each side like you would with an NH35. So as you can see here, I'm using my tweezers to gently remove the legs. Already removed the bottom ones. First one's off. Now the second, a little bit of wiggling back and forth. Don't want to be too harsh on it, even though I know I'm going to be drilling into this thing real soon. You'll see. All right, the legs are off, but you can still see. Sorry, my video skills aren't the best, but there's still a little bit of edge left on the feet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Dremel and I'm going to lightly sand off the feet until it's nice and smooth. Again, please excuse the horrible video editing. I'm still relatively new at the video process here, but it's all a learning curve here. All right, one side done. Now it's time for the next. Lightly grinding off the feet. You don't want to go too hard. You could damage it. Believe me, I've messed up a few dials already, but I only bought one, which you'll see towards the end. I got very lucky, but all right, just a few more passes over it, and I think we're good to go. All right, she's looking smooth. Give it a quick test. There you go. You can see where the heart's going to go on the dial. I did use the outline at first just to place it, and then I put the actual midline on it. Now I'm going to grab my dial holder, and we are going to start drilling holes in this thing. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the center point of the heart, and just kind of drill in the center a little bit, make a little pinhole, and then I'll work my way outward. As you can see, this is a pretty long process. These dials are actually stronger than you think, but you can still damage them pretty easily. So I'm drilling with my Dremel. Making a little pinhole there. All right, I will be speeding up this process a little bit just because, you know, this video was actually over an hour and a half long, so nobody wants to watch that. So I'm going to speed this up. Still using the Dremel. As you can see, the hole's getting bigger and bigger. And I'm using a different head now on the Dremel to kind of make this go a little bit faster, but I'm staying in the center and then working my way towards the edge of the shape that I'm needing. As you can see, still working here. I had to replace or put the thicker outer line on there now that I got the shape going for the decal or vinyl that I was using for this cutout. And just dremeling away here. So this process took a couple hours to get perfectly, so here is the end result for just the Dremel portion. For those that know anatomy, you can see the outer portion of the right ventricle, left ventricle, and right atrium. All right, moving on to the next stage. I ended up painting this whole dial black. I forgot to film it, unfortunately, but you live and learn. Right now, I am taking all the indices and just lightly removing the paint off of them so it can expose the chrome plated indices. The 12, 6, 3, and 9 indices they always were black, so I'm going to leave them black, but the other indices I'm going to take out and make sure that the paint's all removed off of them. I am speeding this process up because this did take quite some time to do this. I'm using just a bit of pegwood here to lightly scratch the surface of the indices without actually, you know, removing the paint on the actual dial itself. It's a long and tedious process, but I really enjoyed it. It's very therapeutic to me. And while I'm doing this, just kind of wanted to go over some other things. I did start a Etsy shop with all my custom watches that I've been making over the past few months. If you are interested in any of these dials that I'm making, or I have actually made a ton of dials, been going at it pretty quickly. I've probably made like almost 20 dials so far. Custom dials, anything you want. I can paint objects, cars, cartoons, dogs, animals, wedding dates, names, people, anything that you can think of to put on a dial, I can attempt to paint it. I'm pretty good at names, dates, cars, you know, all the things that I said before. As you can see, I'm still plugging along here, trying to remove all the extra paint without scratching the actual surface of the dial. All right, now for some actual paint. So I'm going to paint just kind of the outer edge of the heart red, because obviously, you know, hearts are red. I'm using a special paint marker that I was able to get at a hobby store. Right now I'm just doing slow, methodical paint strokes on there. It does blob fairly easily, so you do have to be careful with this kind of paint. So I'm just going around the edge right now. Underneath it is a piece of Rodico that I use just to keep the dial in place, and just slowly going around the edge to give it that extra depth that I'm looking for this dial. I will be using just 2 colors for this dial, nothing crazy. I'm going to use the red, and then I'm going to do blue for the arteries and aorta that will be coming up the top of the heart. And yeah, so just slowly taking my time with this, not rushing, not in a rush. Want to make sure that I get the exact shape that I'm looking for within the bottom part of the heart. Also want to take this time to thank all the people that are watching this. I appreciate the subscribers. I am still very new in this YouTube game. Very few subscribers. I'm only at about 27 right now, but I would love for you guys to like, comment, share, subscribe, help get my stuff out there. It'd be much appreciated. I have 2 jobs. I have my main job that I work from home, and then my second job I just do DoorDash and stuff, but I want to get rid of that and kind of make this my new side gig here right now. But yeah, just wanted to thank you all for tuning in and supporting me on this channel. It means a lot to me. All right, you can start to see the actual shape of the heart there. Again, please bear in mind I am still new at this filming and editing stuff, but you know, you gotta keep practicing, and that's how you get better. Alright, finishing up the bottom lobe of the heart, and here's the final result. Boom. Ignore the green Rodico. That's, like I said, it does bleed a lot, so, but there you go. Now it's time for the final assembly. I do also like to put a small, 3 small layers of clear coat on all my watches, just so you know they don't fade in the sun or anything like that, so it does last the owner a good long time. First things first, I'll go ahead and make sure it's clean. This is the case, all black case. His favorite color is black, so I wanted to give him kind of that stealthy look with the exhibition case back. So you can see that beautiful Miyota movement, along with just some basic black hands with the loom. All right, here is that beautiful Miyota 82 SO movement, automatic movement. There's a crown in there, also black. All right, here are the dial dots that I was speaking about earlier. These are like little adhesive stickers that are on both sides. You want to make sure that you put quite a few on there. I think I put about 4 or 5, but you want to make sure it's on solid pieces, not in any of the actual moving components within the movement itself, as it could get caught or damaged. But because we did remove all the legs off of it, we had to make sure that the movement will still hold in place and not move around within the watch. All right, here movement's on, or the dial is on the movement. I'm just removing some of the any kind of debris that's on the dial itself. Make sure it's nice and clean. All right, now it's time to put on some hands. We are going to start with the hour hand first. Excuse the hands in the way. I do not have any professional setup or camera setup. It's just my iPhone on a basic stand. So please ignore that. I am placing there it is, the hour marker at the midnight. And because this doesn't have a date, it doesn't really matter where, like, for you to rotate the automatic movement or anything like that. I use the pusher to, I got a couple of pushers from the company DIY Watch Club, where I started my watchmaking journey. So they had a whole toolbox that I could get along with my first watch that I built. It is on my channel if you want to check. Okay, first attempt. minute hand failed, so here's attempt number 2. Again, using the Rodico to hold the minute hand on the very tip of the hands. Gives you a little bit easier placement when putting on the minute hand, very gently. Take the pusher, make sure the minute hand is set to midnight, or 12 o'clock, excuse me. And it should just pop on there. Nope, did I get it? Nope, didn't work. You know what? Still a novice here. It's all a learning process, you know? I do think after every watch I have been improving my skills. Alright, let's try this again. There we go. Pot. Nope. Man, I'm just struggle busting with this thing. Put the hand on the Rodico. And I'm also wearing, you'll notice that I'm wearing finger cots here. They're like little tiny mini gloves for your fingers. I don't like the full gloves because it's hard to know the sensation with, it's hard to explain with the sensation with the hands in the full gloves. And plus I get real sweaty hands too, so I don't want them to be just fully gloved. So I use these little finger cots. It protects the dial from any fingerprints or sweating or anything like that. Did I get it? Oh, I think I got it. You don't hear it, but I heard that click. And let's rotate the hands. Want to make sure it's not hitting anything. All right. Look at that. We have a dial, hands, and movement all mended together. One big happy family. Look at that. This is turning out to be really cool looking watch. All right, I rotated it a full 24 hours. Worked perfectly, no issues. Double checking any clearance issues, because once you put it on the case back, it's pain in the butt to, you know, take it all apart again. All right. And the last and final hand, the most difficult part of any watch build is that tiny little seconds hand. Ugh, I'm dreading this. No, I'm just kidding. But this is you gotta have patience when doing this kind of stuff. I am an artist on the side, which is why I like kind of doing these custom painted dials, and I like the patient aspect of it. It kind of just throws you into a zone of sorts. So let's see if I can get this on the first try. Nope. If at first you don't succeed, try again. I'm also trying not to be so monotone in my voice. I've noticed with some of the videos I do have just kind of a straight monotone, you know, treble to my voice. I don't know if I can fix that or not. I'm trying to be more enthusiastic, but let me know what you guys think. Should I raise it up like this, be more excited, or just, you know, calm, cool, mellow? Because, you know, this kind of build, it takes patience, more of an ASMR type deal. You know, let me know what you think. Tell me in the comments. But what do you think of the watch so far? You like it? Do you not like it? What would you change? What would you keep? Is it perfect? All right, let's go attempt number 2 with the seconds hand. You also notice I still have the crown and stem that came with the movement itself. I'll be taking that out and then putting a new stem and crown in. I don't know if I was able to record that or not. I don't think I was. Silly me, my iPhone storage was full. Didn't know it while I was recording above my head, and I know I missed a few last parts. So the end of this watch build, it might not be everything, but I will try to explain what I did. I know with that stem, you do have to cut that stem to length. I do explain that in a few other videos, but it needs to be trimmed in order to fit the movement in the case, and that way you can screw down the crown, because that is just the one that came, the one that you're seeing now is just the one that came with the movement itself. All right, second time. Did I get it? Is it on there? Nope. As you can see, it just fell off. You should actually feel the tiniest little click when you get the second hand securely fitted onto the movement. It does take practice. There were times where I was looking at it dead in the eye with the jeweler's loop, just so I can actually see what I'm doing here. Again, fingers in the way, my apologies. Eventually, you know what, if I get when I get my first 1,000 subscribers, I'll try and to update my video equipment. Give me some real stands and, you know, stuff like that. Did that get on? Looks like I got it on. All right, here's the final stages of this process here. I do want to just reiterate, I'm not the best with the filming skills. I am learning, trying to get it the best I could with the things I have, iPhone and a basic stand. All right, the final thing you must do when completing a watch build is make sure everything is clean. Make sure your work area or your workstation is clean. Clean the inside of the glass. You don't know how annoying it is to get a watch together and then all of a sudden you see a little smudge mark or a little speck of dust on the inside of the glass. Oh, it's so disheartening to see. And you got to take the watch apart again, take out the stem, crown and stem, you know, clean the glass, put it back together. It's a big pain in the ass. So right now I'm just gently putting the movement dial assembly into the case itself. Push it in nice and firm. Make sure the hole for the stem is aligned where the stem hole is for the crown. There's the new stem and crown. And what I also like to do is put a little bit of Loctite on the crown itself onto the stem. That way it does not come loose. Just a little dab. Alright, so I did film a little bit of the crown and stem process here. So you can see it's not all the way closed. Now we'll use and I will measure from the bottom of the crown to the top of where the crown screws in. There's a little gap there that you have to mark and cut the stem short enough to where you can get the crown to screw on all the way down so it gives you that watertight seal, as the crown does have a little rubber gasket inside of it. Now I am using the calipers to measure it. Looks like it was about 5.7 millimeters thick. So I will then take out the crown. There's a little tiny, as you can see with the screwdriver there's a little tiny button that you push in order to remove the crown and stem. Push it out. Now that the stem is marked, I take a pair of pliers and then remove the excess excess material off of the stem. put the stem and crown back on with some Loctite. Screw it on, make sure it's nice and tight. Alright guys, this is where the last portion of the video kind of cut off. Last step is usually just to lube up the case back gasket, put on the case back and straps. Alright guys, here it is. The final result. Man, look at that watch. It is so gorgeous. As you can see, I did add a white heartbeat design on the dial as well as a last minute thing. And then on the case back, added my label, which is RWB. But man, isn't this such a good watch? Oh, and then I added the RWB for the box itself as well. Thank you so much for watching. This one has been super fun. If you guys are interested in any watches I make or have any ideas, comment, like, subscribe. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you, and here's to the next one. Cheers.